Hello and welcome to There's No Business Like, a podcast where friends and industry colleagues explore topics and interview leaders in our industry of professional theatrical touring. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to There Is No Business Like. I am Danielle Van Hook, and I am here today with my buds, Katie.
Hi, everyone. Katie Traska-Miller with Michigan Maven Creative Associates in Midland, Michigan.
And Kevin.
Kevin Maynard coming at you from Tallahassee.
And currently, Josh is at Napalm and Brian is climbing a beanstalk. No, JK, I don't. It's just the three of us here today. So I have called you all here on this blessed occasion because I have a question. And we're currently working through this right now. So I'm just curious what your experiences are and like, is this happening? And I just don't know about it. So we have an upcoming show with like some film actors, stars in it. And as part of the contract, there's a meet and greet opportunity that, you know, was included as people could buy the meet and greet. They have to buy the ticket, but then the meet and greet's extra. You know, the price of that was set by the artists and it's a pass through. So like, you know, that's something that's just like worked in with everything that we're doing. So we're organizing the event, but we're not making any money from it. And there were some details in that I'm just curious if it's standard for sort of like a meet and greet with this profile of artist, or if this is just like kind of a unique situation. So I wanted to get your all's feedback about kind of what's happening at your venues. So one, the artist specified no autographs for the people who purchased the tickets. And we had to hire a photographer for the event. So people aren't allowed to take their own photos. They'll be getting them from a professional photographer afterwards. Is that normal?
Yeah. We're seeing that more and more in contract writers in regards to meet and greets, especially when it comes to autographs and the photographer. I think a lot of it has to do with just wanting to move these things along and try to make them sort of like as quick as possible. I also think that the general public is getting worse. In the sense of like, you know, I want to take my own photo. I want to do this selfie. I want you to say something into my phone. But if you eliminate that and say, hey, we're just using a professional photographer, you sort of eliminate that in theory.
So, but we're in the business of creating experiences, and we can spell all of those things out, you know, in the description and make sure everybody knows like what it is they're buying and what they're signing up for. But like, does that take away from like what a meet and greet is?
I don't think so. I mean, especially in certain realms, like this is pretty common, especially when you get into like Comic-Cons. And I think of particularly like metal shows. Like metal bands will sell meet and greets that are literally like, hey, we're going to take a photo. And sometimes they'll include like, you'll have a pre-signed poster. But
Sure.
Typically like, it's like, hey, we're going to take a quick photo with our photographer and like, you'll get a link to download the image. And so I think like for certain people, it is definitely, you know, they're used to it. But I think it's like you said, like you do really have to manage expectations. Like you have to spell those things out and you have to send that in the know before you go if you do one of those. The other thing that we have found that is really, really helpful is if you can have somebody from the artist management team specifically, not somebody like you, because the audience knows who you are typically. If you have somebody from the management group that comes out and says, hey, we've got a professional photographer to take your photos. Here's how this is going to run. It runs 1,000% smoother. Even if it's just like, hey, like if I do it or one of my team does it, it is so much easier when somebody from the management does it, or that's with the group that people don't know.
Yeah, and it's putting the onus more on the artist and the management team versus the venue team. And people sort of respect that maybe authority a little bit more and are more prone to listen to somebody they don't know coming out on stage or coming out to the line and explaining how that's going to work, because they're familiar with you and they think like, oh, we know these folks, we can break the rules, or, you know, we can like shimmy around this. So Kevin, I do agree that definitely helps in my experiences with meet and greets as well.
So do you guys think that that's something that is like seeping over from that more like commercialized Comic-Con culture? Or is it just something that's the world is changing, like people are trying to get their free cameo video, or a little bit of both? Or is everything just always a little bit of both?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I think for certain artists that especially have some level of notoriety, they're probably going, look, if we're gonna do this meet and greet thing, and we're gonna we might as well monetize it, and we might as well make it an easy thing so that we, take money from that while we can.
Sure.
The other aspect is, like I said, I mean, I just think that, putting some guardrails around that just helps the artist. And, we're doing it too. We typically, for our sponsors that sponsor a show, we try to line up a meet and greet. But because of, honestly, things that happened with this past year with meet and greets, when I reach out to agents and stuff now, I'm very clear, here is our meet and greet process. And this is the process we're now following with our sponsors. We are limiting the number of people. We're explaining that, while this is called a meet and greet, this is really a photo opportunity. This is not a, hey, we're going to hang out and have a reception and drink beers together sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because again, we've just seen sort of the wheels come off on this stuff of people wanting the video, wanting to do multiple photos, wanting to tell their life story, and it just, for the artist that is about to do a show or has just done a show, it's a lot.
Sure.
And they're taking some time out of their schedule to do this.
So that makes me wonder, is the phrase meet and greet really the right phrasing? Should we be transitioning to some sort of different language to help set those expectations in a different way when it is not a reception, when it is really just sort of a photo call essentially, and people walking backstage, getting a quick photo, shaking a hand and moving on?
I mean, I think you could, but I think the problem is everybody is getting more and more used to this being called a meet and greet. I mean, I think it's just managing those expectations and changing those expectations. Cause like I said, I mean, I've gone to a lot of metal shows where VIP meet and greets, that's what they are. It is, hey, we're before the show. Here's the step and repeat behind me. We're taking this photo. Nice to meet you. Move on down the line.
Yeah. And I mean, I am used to meet and greet, and it's a relatively similar thing, right? But it's after a show and with, youth audiences, which I think everybody in the line almost always they're in the line to get a picture, right? Because it's a picture on Insta or it doesn't happen. And that feels very much that's been the culture of things. And I usually stand in the front of the line and offer to take the photo, just because especially if the parent gives me the phone, it still gives them the opportunity to say hi, I enjoyed this. Here, here's the reason, that I really need to come and tell you this right now. And I take the picture, and then it's sort of I'm handing it back to them, and it's an easy, I'm motioning to the door. Right. And so we're able to keep that flow with, children, because it's hard to be the last person in a line of a couple hundred kids. But it's also at the same time for a kid who just really needs to tell a magician about the trick they learned on the way there, they have to say it. And it's sort of one family is I'm here for the picture, and another family takes a little bit of extra time, but it all kind of comes out in the wash. And I don't overly manage that situation. And just want that moment to break the fourth wall, and to I feel there's a different reason behind a meet and greet for a youth audience versus for something that's more in the pop culture world, right? Which so is new for me, because it's not a world that we are in a ton, but it's I'm kind of seeing this for the first time, and I'm oh, is this what y'all are doing?
I am curious. So you said that the meet and greet is an add-on and it's a pass through to the artist. So just arbitrary numbers, if it's a $30 meet and greet, $30 is going to the artist.
Yeah.
And you're not benefiting as a venue from that at all?
I mean, we're benefiting in terms of people are coming and having a great experience, hopefully, right? Benefiting in terms of hopefully they get information about coming back, but financially, no. And that was, we knew that in the contract, right? We agreed to that.
Yeah. We typically, we build in a couple different things. It sort of depends on how the artist is running the meet and greet or the VIP experience. Cause some artists they'll sell it on their site. it doesn't touch our site at all.
Oh, wow.
You know, so that's some folks do that. I mean, obviously we have to coordinate some things.
You just get like a list from them?
It's an add-on. So like they buy the ticket from us, and then they also buy the VIP ticket from that company or from that artist. How do you
double check that they actually did buy the ticket then?
That's on them.
That's on the artist?
Yeah. And typically like they will send a list to say like, hey, these folks. The other one is like when we're selling those, we do charge a fee. Like we'll pretty upfront of being like, look, we've got credit card fees that are on top of this, and other expenses. Typically it's nominal. The photographer is an interesting one to me because I could go either way on that. Like part of me is like, look, yeah, you're gonna have to pay for the photographer. Like that's what this fee costs. But then also, I mean, you're gonna have a bunch of folks that are gonna be posting about their time at the Alden. And in theory, you've got a step and repeat behind them that has your branding all over it. So
sure do.
You could write it off as marketing, but to me, I'm going, well, if we're not getting any of this money, like I feel like there's got to be something there. But again, this is all things in a contract phase, and frankly, it could all depend on like, look, the show is affordable. Like this isn't a big lift for us. I mean.
Yeah, no, and I want to phrase this by like, I'm not complaining. Like all of this was things that were like worked out, you know, in the contract and like is worth it for our organization to do.
Absolutely.
But like now that we're getting closer and I'm like seeing like some audience reaction to the like no autographs and like the restrictions on it, I'm like, oh yeah. You know, and of course there's that like table setting of like, this is what the experience is. But then it got me thinking of just like, so like where is this influencing from? And like, you know, it like is a theater audience, one, A, coming to this, but B, like their expectation versus, you know, somebody who is going to like a lot of conventions or like these very specific type of events where this is more of a thing. Like, are we just attracting that audience? And, you know, they're kind of my other question though is does the audience member just get their photo or do they just get like the whole slew of them?
That's a great question. We haven't run one quite like that where we've had to have a professional photographer. When we do ours, like when it's not as part of like that sort of thing, like we're doing them with, you know, 10, 15 people. And we typically have our photographer on site for that. And we send those out individually, but I have no idea. I don't do a lot of meet and greets. I don't pay for meet and greets. Yeah. So I don't, that's a great question.
So yeah, I was just curious of like a little bit of a, what's it called? Just like a check on like, how is this going in other places? You also said VIP experience. Like, are you seeing other things in contracts that artists are doing?
Yeah, we actually have a show coming in on next season that'll do they'll do a VIP upsell. We're working out some of the details on how exactly that works. But you know, they'll do for, I want to say it's like 6 to 10 people. I can't remember what their ticket number is, but they'll do it's like a hangout on their bus. And then they'll do a private sound check / like play a couple numbers before the doors open to the public. They also have one that I've told them, I was like, I don't think this is a great idea, and I don't support it. Is like they have like just a upcharge for VIP merch, like just a like, and not like you're getting something VIP like in their thing. It's just like you get early access to their merch area, and so no public around. And I think in certain venues and in a festival setting, like that might be worth it. Again, I'm not that audience, so I don't know. But for the way that we're set up, and I think most theaters are set up, that VIP merch thing is like typically it's happening in the lobby, and it's like, yeah, I can stanchion off, but like you're still going to have the whole audience behind you and be like, why is that one guy get to be in front of the merch area first? And obviously like the other VIP tiers also include that, but I'm like, yeah, I can't really, I mean, unless you want to show up 3 hours early.
Yeah. So. Danielle, we had one of the hologram shows at Midland Center a handful of years ago. It was like one of the first ones that was out on the road, and they did like a a VIP experience afterwards where a certain number of people got to stay in the auditorium and talk with like the creator and the production manager and see some of like the tech behind it. So that was definitely, that was an upsell. And then the Disney shows a lot of time do like a big VIP experience. So when we had, which one was it? With the Spidey verse. That one. God, I can't remember the title now, but that was huge. And so like our whole lower level got turned into the VIP experience. So they had all sorts of activities for the kids and character meet and greets and coloring and balloons and like a dance party and like all sorts of stuff. And so that was we did 3 performances of that. And I think it was limited to like 100 families, 100 kids. And it was timed, right? Because you can only fit so many people in the space. So that was a huge production. We had to hire extra staff in or have volunteers come in to help with all those logistics.
So, but were the artists or the characters in that? Or was it just sort of like a post-show hang out and jam?
They had specific staff there for it. And then I believe it was some of the actors in costume. Okay. So Minnie Mouse, okay. Mickey Mouse, and Spidey were all downstairs taking photos with the kids afterwards. Okay. So that's a huge production. And that was a lot of money. That was a lot of extra money for the tour.
For a hot second, I thought you meant it was just sort of like a party, but like with nobody from the production. And I was like, no, it was more about that.
It was a big party, but they had the characters there taking pictures. So, and let me tell you, when Leo got to meet not so much Mickey Mouse, but Minnie Mouse and Spidey, he was in seventh heaven, like was so happy. I don't know. Yeah. I have the best pictures from that. It was really super fun.
I feel like the only other person that can pull that off is Santa.
Spidey, Santa Claus. Yeah, I can see it. Same color, same costume colors, same level of notoriety. Yeah, I can see it.
Both selling meet and greets. So.
I mean, like Santa's kind of like the OG meet and greet, right? Where it's like you walk up, like you're really here for the picture, but also you need to like make sure that like he knows that you
just
want a Furby.
Case. Yeah,
it's
true.
Yeah.
True.
Just and like see if you can like suss out if you're on like which list you're on, right? But it's like a short combo because like the elf is like is needing to take that picture, so like you got to spit it out.
Let's go.
I mean, honestly, thinking about Santa Claus right at the holidays and that how they do that with the kids and with the pictures and the moving them through the line, like it's actually like you said, the OG. It's the OG meet and greet. So that model is like sort of what we're implementing across this part of the industry.
Huh.
Yeah, we could take some notes.
It's all of a sudden very wholesome. The upsell Santa's been doing lately, though, let me tell you. I don't know what list I'm on this year, but I had some problems with it last year.
You could probably pay to be off that list. So
there's probably VIP access to the good list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like, I don't know. There does feel like there's like a nickel and diming aspect of it that I just feel like I've always like pushed back on. But I also see that like the world is changing, right? Like,
yeah,
and I keep telling myself that I'm not too old to change with it.
Yeah, I think that, thinking about like ancillary services or other revenue streams for venues, it's if you're going to help facilitate that, what is the perk then for the venue itself? Is it part of that feedback? Is it the marketing? Like, how do you what's the remuneration for facilitating all that? Because it's a lot of extra work on top of your staff to figure out the logistics of that, to hire the photographer, to put the stanchions out, to manage the lines. Like that can be a lot of extra work for staff. So how is the venue at the end of the day benefiting from that and not just the artist, right? Thinking about it holistically. I think it's a really great question in this day and age of like, everyone is trying to figure out a way to make ends meet.
Sure. And also like from the artist perspective too, like there wouldn't be that add-on if they weren't who they are, right? Like I can't sell that experience for like anyone, so I'll
do it.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Let's sell Kevin meet and greets. We'll see how far I get with that. Honestly, we should do that for conferences. Oh, you wanna send an email to meet with me? It's VIP.
Sorry, that's a $10 fee.
Yeah. Oh, you want to talk about programming?
Oh, you want the 2:00 slot? Oh, that's an upcharge.
That's prime. That's prime.
Yeah, normally I'm getting coffee then, so now it's 20.
I hate everything about this.
I don't know. I like the part where I make money, though.
Yeah. No, I hated it until it benefited me. Yeah. But like, no, but just that like piece and dime, like you on the airplane where it's like you buy a ticket and then they're like, oh, did you want to see?
You want to $20. Oh, you want to pick where you sit?
You have preferences now. Would you like a drink? Oh no. That's gonna be a prepaid $5. Yeah, like I don't know. I know there's clearly a line between those like those two things, and that's clearly not where I am. But that's just like I don't like that feeling, right?
I think again it comes back to this idea of the idealism of our industry and sort of the things we talk about in terms of accessibility and experience and the magic of it all, and the practicality of running a venue, being a touring artist, having to cover your costs. Like this is where that gray area, I think one of the areas that gray really sort of sets in.
Yeah. But then again, I mean, we always talk about that the artist deserves to be compensated for their time.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And especially if we're taking whatever we're taking out of the merch, right? Like,
correct.
They, they got to find a way to make it balance it for them as well. And especially, I mean, obviously we don't have a bar. I don't know if it's obvious we don't have a bar, but like, I'm sure if we did have a bar, like, we'd be making it back in at least one extra drink from all of those people. So, I mean, I think you can cut it up in a variety of different ways. And there are certain facts you can ignore to make it seem one way or the other. But yeah, it seems like it's a change in little thing. All right. Well, I think that's about it for us today. Anyone out there who kind of has a different experience or feeling about meet and greets, we'd love to hear about that in the comments on any of our social posts. You can write to us. We're always here. Like, and also if you could leave a review just with that information in it, that could, really kind of meet two goals at once. So killer. But anywho, we will check you next time here at the No Business Like podcast, and we'll see you later, friends.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to There's No Business Like. Our producers and hosts are Brian Zelmer, Josh Benson, Kevin Maynard, Katie Miller, and me, Danielle Van Hook. Views expressed in this podcast are ours alone and are not reflective of the organizations we are a part of. Keep up with us at nobusinesslike.com. There you'll find links to all of our episodes and socials. If you like this podcast, give us a like, a follow, a review, or our favorite, a 5-star rating. Oh wait, what was that site? I got it, don't worry. It is nobusinesslike.com. Do I sound out bus-I-ness every time I type it? Yep, sure do. Stay in touch, my friends.
Yeah, so we'll just segue this into a farm show.
Friend, and after they finished like carving pumpkins, their father just like threw them out into the yard. It was like, I'm just gonna see if these grow, and they fucking did.
I think that's what
like
happened.
A lot.
Yeah. I think that's what happened because I had a cluster of them that was like planted like right around a tomato that like I came back one day and it was just planted in my yard because sometimes my mother-in-law just goes places and will just show up with plants. And I was like, I feel like she wouldn't have planted this tomato like in like where she also planted seeds, but like who knows, right? And so then I was just like, I don't know, like they were growing and I was like, is this a weed? And I was just sort of like watering and like didn't have time for anything. And so the day that I went to like weed and get rid of stuff, I like was digging them out and I was like, man, the seeds on here look an awful lot like pumpkins. And then I was like, internet, what does a baby pumpkin look like? And it was like, you are the mother of 21, I think, baby pumpkins.
Nice.
I mean, all I'm hearing is like new business opportunity.
I know.
You're just selling pumpkins out of the front yard.
Yeah.
I mean,
you need to get one of those little like farm stands. It's like, just like runs on the honor system. Put your money in the basket. Everybody be like, man, do you know the pumpkin lady?
I know. The urban farm pumpkin lady.
Yeah,
what if I throw them all about into my yard this year and then next year I'm the pumpkin lady? Because if I've got 20 I keep losing count on my children.
They're definitely
pumpkin babies.
Yeah. They're going to multiply though by the end of the season. Like you're going to have a lot more than 21 pumpkins, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, you just throw these out in the front yard now. And then pumpkin patch.
Nothing else will grow there. So
right. Just make it a pumpkin patch. Totally.
Listen.
And then all the neighborhood parents who don't have to go to like a pumpkin farm will thank you.
The internet's been telling me to do some great stuff. Have you guys heard of chaos farming?
Look, it's so funny because I was literally just gonna say, I was like, this feels like chaos farming, and I didn't know that was a thing. So is that just like where you just throw shit out and you're like, well, I guess whatever happens.
There are people that appear to know what they're doing and like rotate their crops from season to season and will throw like beans from their pantry just like out into an area that's like not in use currently. And then the beans put nitrogen back in the soil, and nitrogen is good. So they'll plant cover crops, which is a word I also learned this year. And by chaos farming, which is they just throw the beans and then walk away. And so one day I was like, I would also like to chaos farm. And I had some beans.
In my mind, you're just chucking baked beans out in the yard.
Straight up a Thursday night. And I had also stopped at the farm stand on my way home and purchased some herbs because I was getting very angry at the deer and looked up what do they not like the smell of and bought a lot of that. And so I was like planting those and was like being a little bit squirrely about how many things I had purchased. Right. And so I was like, trying to like make it happen. But I was also like, I'm just going to take some beans outside too. Because for some reason I was like, if you plant beans, like, it's like, I don't know. I was thinking about like the giant, like
Jack and the Beanstalk.
That's what I was just going to say was like, this,
like, you don't plant beans like and tell people about it, right? Like,
this feels like into the woods. Like they're going to be a giant coming down from.
So I was like, chaos farming. So I planted all my other stuff. And I had this area where I was like, there's nothing really growing here. There's a lot of weeds I don't like. Like, I'll just put them here. And I was like, well, chaos farming, you don't put any dirt down. And it's all clay and weeds because it's Virginia. So I throw the beans as they do on the internet and they like roll all around. And I was like, okay, great. And I had like a little bit of dirt left in a bag. And I was like, I'll just dump the dirt on top and then they'll be planted because, now they're underground. And right. So you would think the chaos part is done. The chaos part hasn't started yet. I picked up the dirt from where I had it on a bench and I started, and it was heavier than I thought. So I was like doing that like walk where it's like falling at the same time. I'm like trying to get like not far, a few feet away from where I am. And I just full on drop it. And I was like, oh man, I'm so close, but I can't do it. And I like look down and I'm like, the dirt's moving. And then I like look at me and I'm like, the dirt's moving on me. And then I yelled because it was very clearly ants that were in the bag.
Oh no.
And built a nest of some kind in there. And so then there was chaos, like ultimate level chaos. And then I was just smacking myself. And then so I also, whenever I water and farm, I go outside with my bug racket and I zap them.
I love the bug racket.
As I'm doing everything.
Love it.
And one day my neighbor was like, oh, I thought you were back there throwing 4th of July. This
I'm like the poppers.
Yeah. And I was like, nope, just me.
Zapping some
bug lady out here doing crazy bug zapping. So anyway, some beans might start growing in my yard.
Yeah, long story. Part of the story is we might have beans.
We might have beans. And that's our episode. It's been story time with Danielle Van Hook. Thanks for sharing, Danielle. And we'll see you next time here on There's No Business, on the next episode of There's No Business Like.
I think it's the next episode of the Farming Podcast.
I know. We're a sports podcast and a farming